Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's call the Malden City Council meeting to order. Would you please all stand to salute the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you please remain standing for a moment of silence as we honor our servicemen and women? Why do we have feedback here? Could it be this? Might be this.
Steve,
Yes, I did.
can you hear anything?
I can't. Did you hear something?
No.
I'm going to leave that aside.
Yeah, let me,
So chat.
okay, thank you. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you who are in attendance, please be advised that Urban Media Arts will be recording this evening's proceedings, so be aware that there'll be both audio as well as video recordings of this meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Kamel here. Condon. Crow. Here. DeMaria.
Here?
Linehan. Here. Murphy.
Murphy.
O'Malley. Here. Sika. Here. Spatafora. Here. Winslow.
Winslow here.
Anderson.
That's what it is. Anderson here. Okay, first order of business.
Under guest citizen achievement announcements, Malden Community Food Assessment Team will appear before the council to discuss their role out of the report as it relates to food security.
Excuse me, just before we do that, let me just acknowledge a couple of people that are here. This is the first meeting that we're having after the election, and I believe we've got 3 of the newly elected councilors that are in the audience, and I think it's appropriate that we acknowledge their presence here. If you can, please, would you acknowledge the presence of newly elected Councilor at Large Karen Colon Hayes. Councilor at Large elect Carrie McDonald. And returning Councilor to Ward 7, Christopher Simonelli. And congratulations to you all, and to those of you who have been running for re-election and were reseated. I congratulate you all and look forward to watching you on television as you continue with the proceedings. So now, if I may please, if you would go ahead with the presentation. That is on now. That red light there is telling you that you are fired up. Okay.
Great.
Would you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. My name is Renee Camerata Hamilton. I work at the Cambridge Health Alliance at 195 Canal Street. And do you need my home address? No, right? So good evening. My name is Renee Camerata Hamilton, and I'm the director of the Community Health Improvement Team at the Cambridge Health Alliance. While I am the only one presenting this evening, I represent the collective efforts of the Malden Community Food Assessment Core Leadership Team. Those members seated behind me are Marcia Manong from Bread of Life, Kathleen O'Brien, Cambridge Health Alliance, Christina Murphy, and Christine Glynn, both of the Malden YWCA. We are aware that you have been provided this presentation in advance, but may not have had a chance to fully digest it and let it all settle in, so that's why we're here tonight. We plan to keep it brief and at a very high level so that there's room for your perspectives, observations, and questions about what's next. You've been provided with a hard copy of the entire Malden Community Food Assessment as well. Tonight, our presentation will cover a brief overview of the Malden Community Food Assessment, otherwise known as the CFA, a summary of the outcomes of that CFA, and a request to you, the Malden City Council. This image here represents the general process of a systematic, community-led community food assessment, which is to identify and analyze food system needs and assets, and to then channel all of that information into a plan of action. So the next few slides will lead you through the purpose and process of the Malden Community Food Assessment, and we'll review our goals and the report outline, the timeline and methodology, as well as the data collection and engagement processes. So the group gathered in 2019 and collaboratively formulated our vision and goal. And in 2021, we achieved that goal. Our goal was to create a shared understanding of the current state of resources and gaps present within Malden's food system. We hope that this information will be used to create a plan of action to achieve equitable access to healthy food for all residents of Malden. And the report in front of you includes the 6 main sections that are outlined on the screen. To give you a sense of the timeline at a very high level, in 2019, we formed our team and we gathered data. In 2020, due to COVID, we extended our data collection through a community survey that captured the community conditions related to COVID and food security. And in 2021, we had a series of collaborative sense-making sessions of the data that we gathered, and we prioritized and formulated recommendations for action. This was a collaborative process that included wide and deep community engagement and input throughout. Our leadership team and the broader Tri-City Hunger Network, convened by Marcia Manong at the Bread of Life, focused upon uplifting the voices of the community, especially those closest to the impact of food insecurity. We were intentional about language, faith, and cultural inclusivity. There was also deliberate processes taken to take into consideration the digital divide. Folks were able to take part in a multilingual survey either online or on paper, and results were analyzed by the MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, and shared back to the Tri-City Hunger Network. On this slide, you'll see a brief snapshot of the findings of the Malden Community Food Security Survey, translated into 5 languages and answered by 373 Malden residents during the summer of 2020. For more detailed information on these findings and more, you can see the findings section of the report. But up there you can see, or on your presentation printout, you can see some of the main areas that the survey covered and what we learned from that. So the recommended goals and actions. Based on the findings of the Malden CFA, recommended goals and actions for implementation were compiled by the participants of this collaborative process. Once the data were collected and analyzed, there was extensive sense-making processes to identify priorities based on the principles of equity and feasibility. The Malden CFA report contains recommended goals and actions from 4 areas of focus: consumption, production, retail and distribution, as well as rescue and waste diversion. Additionally, there was a set of overarching recommendations. And in recognition of the limited time that we have on the agenda this evening, we are only going to focus on the overarching recommendations of the Malden Community Food Assessment. We would be happy to return to this body to provide a more in-depth exploration of the report's findings and recommendations in each of the other areas of focus. A key overarching recommendation that came out of this assessment is to establish a food policy council, or a comparable organized body, as the leading coalition for prioritizing the recommendations of the Malden Community Food Assessment and creating a community food plan. We are advocating that the extensive engagement and collaboration that went into this assessment process is validated and put to the best and highest use. As we stated in our first slide, the ultimate goal of a community food assessment is to channel the findings into a plan of action, and we're halfway there. Now we'd like to hear from you about what we can best actualize in this goal together. So, as you can see here, we have our request to you. We seek an endorsement of the community food assessment, and Council President Anderson, we recognize that this may not be on the agenda, or it may. At your discretion, we are seeking an endorsement of this community food assessment tonight or at some point in the future. We also would like to gain an understanding from you about how this report and its recommendations can inform work already in process in Malden. In other words, how can the data, findings, and recommendations of the CFA be of use to you? And lastly, what do you recommend to our team in terms of how the recommendations stemming from this report can best be put into action?
Thank you. Yes, Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. President. And as Renee had mentioned, they really started working on this in 2019, so way before the pandemic. And knowing that, because we knew that our neighbors were having food insecurity then. And we've heard from the YMCA, and we hear all about the work that the Bread of Life does, and sort of those numbers that they had been serving pre-pandemic, and then how they skyrocketed during the pandemic. And I think even when Deb Amaral from the YMCA spoke about their food pantry and some of the limitations that they had, some of the things that they're working on. But one of those things was really access to fresh food, and I think Councilor Seeker and Councilor Spadafora tried to help address that with the community refrigerators and some of the fresh food that is in those. And I really do think this is a great starting, not a starting point because they've been working on this forever, is to take it to its next level. And instead of having all these pieces, is use this data, use what's been working. How do we make this that it really is part of the infrastructure of Malden? So I applaud them, and I'd make a motion, if it's appropriate, that we do endorse the community food assessment.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Spadafora.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll echo Councilor Crow's sentiments in terms of, I did read it at home. I actually saw Christine the other day, and I commended her. A lot of work, great detail. I was surprised, and I mentioned to Christine, that I know there was a lot of groups that were reached out, and I'm not saying you didn't, but Mystic Valley Elders Service wasn't included in it. I figured with that population of a lot of seniors that are, again, pre-COVID and post-COVID, I think they were, I talked to Christine, I think they were addressed, but it was just interesting that we didn't see any data from them in here, which I know it's not your fault, but I was just amazed to not see that in there. And I love the recommendations about the rooftop and the privately owned green space to produce fresh vegetables and fresh food for the residents. I know that is not always the cheapest option, unfortunately, and the cheapest option is usually Oreos and crackers, right? And that's not the good thing. And I do want to echo what Councilor Crowe said. That was one of the reasons we put the refrigerators out there, to get that type of produce. But that's even expensive for us and residents to produce and give away. So great work. Continue building on it. And I would second Councilor Crow's motion if we are going to give this a vote to continue the good work and move forward with the assessment. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing to speak? Well, I, from the chair, would also endorse the idea of moving on this evening, and thank you very much for a great presentation and fine work that you've all been doing. I think it's very noteworthy that other activities that have taken place throughout this last couple of years on recognizing the need in the community and stepping up to the plate and doing the things that we can do to overcome this deficiency. So it looks like I don't see any of the lights on the council. So on those who are on Zoom.
Council President,
Yes, Councilor Murphy.
thank you.
Go right ahead,
I
Councilor
just wanted to if I may, I just wanted to chime in here for a moment and want to thank everyone for all the work they put into this. And also, I'd like to recognize the Malden Community Garden. I know we put the refrigerators on the bike path to help, get fresh produce into the hands of our community. But I do want to recognize Julie Mangan and all of the gardeners who created the farm that has produced an inordinate amount of fresh fruit, fresh vegetables this season and delivered them to Bread of Life. They've worked tirelessly at that. And I think that their thinking was really out of the box to actually create a working farm within the city of Malden. And I just want to kind of give them some kudos this evening, not only to them, but also to everyone to think a little bit out of the box as to how we can, as we move forward in this endeavor, come up with new ideas to be able to provide the fresh fruits and vegetables that our citizens need. So just one little thing I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Anyone else on Zoom that we don't see wishing to speak? I'm seeing a nod of the head. You knocked it out of the box in your presentation. We've got the message. There is a motion on the floor that we endorse this recommendation this evening. It's been seconded. The clerk will please call the roll.
Kamel? Yes. Crow? Yes. DeMaria?
Yes.
Linehan? Murphy?
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley? Yes. Sika?
Yes.
Spatafora?
Spatafor, yes.
Winslow?
Winslow, yes.
Anderson?
Anderson, yes. It's been moved favorably by the city council. Congratulations, yes. And while we're on this subject matter, I've been asked to make this announcement that if you're alone on Thanksgiving Day, there will be a Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday, November 25th, from noon to 2 p.m. at the Malden High School, sponsored by the Mayor's Office, Bread of Life, Cornucopia, Forestdale Church, and others. Volunteers and donations are welcome. Roasted turkey is I guess the main item on the menu, and we want everyone to be able to enjoy a Thanksgiving meal. So thank you all for your hard work and for this great activity and great work. Yes, let's give everyone a round of applause. Hear, hear. Next order of business.
Papers 47021, minutes of the meeting of October 19, 2021, and paper 47121, minutes of the meeting of October 26, 2021.
I make a motion to accept.
Second, Councilor Winslow.
Councilor DeMaria's motion.
Yeah, thank you.
Seconded by Councilor O'Malley. Clerk will please call the roll. Was that Councilor O'Malley's voice I heard?
Councilor Winslow.
Councilor Winslow, okay, another deep, let's hear that deep voice, Councilor Winslow.
Councilor Winslow.
Councilor Winslow, okay. On the vote, the clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel? Yes. Crow? DeMaria?
Yes.
Linehan? Yes. Murphy?
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley? Sika? Yes. Spatafora? Winslow?
Winslow, yes.
Anderson?
Anderson, yes. Those minutes have been approved. Next order of business. Go ahead, Councilor Winslow. Let's get down in the basement with that deep voice of yours.
Paper 472-21, mayoral appointment, Tovah Miller 46 Converse Ave, number 3, Malden, to the Disability Commission. Said time to commence upon confirmation by the City Council and to expire March 15, 2024. Tovah will fulfill the unexpired term of Lauren Schipper, who recently resigned due to relocating out of Malden.
On Counselor Crow's motion that we refer this to the Appointments Committee, clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Sika. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That appointment is referred to the Appointments Committee. Next order of business.
Paper 473-21, mayoral reappointment, Paul Buckley, 115 Emerald Street, Malden, as a member of the Conservation Commission, said term to expire on October 1st, 2023.
On Counselor Crow's motion that we refer that to the Appointments Committee, clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Sika. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That appointment has been referred to the Appointments Committee.
Paper-
Next order of business.
Paper 474-21, mayoral reappointment, Mary Hampton, 29 Beachview Terrace, Malden, as a member of the Historical Commission, said term to expire November 1st, 2024.
On Counselor Crow's motion to refer to Appointments Committee, clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Sika. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. That appointment has been referred to the committee. Next order of business.
Council Anderson, Council President, just wondered if we had any public comment this evening.
No request for public comment.
Okay, thank you.
Council President, there's 2.5 pages of licenses that are going to get referred. Council Sika, who will be speaking for the committee, asked that we read them all at once.
Yes, I would endorse that. Let's read them all at once, and unless there is anyone who has any objection to any of them, we're going to move them all to committee. Seeing no objection, please, Mr. Lucy, you can start at the top.
Paper 475-21, petition amusement license, Dockside, 229 Center Street, 6 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 476-21, petition amusement license, Malden Veterans of Irish Ancestry, Inc., 177 West Street, 4 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 477-21, petition amusement license, Flaming Grill Buffet, 12 Broadway, 3 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 478-21, petition amusement license, Provo Corp., DBA Patrick's and Franny's, 36-40 Lebanon Street, renewal, 3 machines. Paper 479-21, petition amusement license, Italian American War Veterans, Post 16, 40 Oakland Street, renewal, 4 machines. Paper 480-21, amusement machines, Town Line 10-Pin Corp., 665 Broadway, 25 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 481-21, petition, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 617 Broadway, renewal. Paper 482-21, extended hours, Walgreens, 185 Center Street, 24 hours, it's a renewal. Paper 483-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 424 Main Street, renewal. Paper 484-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 57 Eastern Ave, renewal. Extended hours, paper 485-21, Dunkin' Donuts, 200 Commercial Street, it's a renewal. Paper 486-21, extended hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 245 Pleasant Street, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m., it's a renewal. Paper 487-21, extended hours, L&K Billiard Pool Hall, 94B Pleasant Street, renewal, 12 p.m. to 11:45 p.m. 488-21, Class 2, Rio Grande Auto Group Corp., DBA Dealer One Motors, 77 Broadway, 48 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 489-21, Class 2, Champa Auto Body, 322 Eastern Ave, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 490-21, Class 2, Frank's Auto Sales, 189 Highland Ave, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Class 2, Greenleaf Auto, Inc., it's 28 Broadway, 50 vehicles, it's a renewal. 492-21, Class 2, River Auto Sales, Inc., 77 Eastern Ave, 21 cars, it's a renewal. Previously licensed had 25 cars, now 21. New plot plan submitted. Paper 493-21, Class 2, Culloden Brothers, Inc., 61 Clinton Street, 2 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 494-21, Class 2, GP Motorcycle Supply, 420 Broadway, 4 motorcycles, it's a renewal. Paper 495-21, Class 2, Maxima Auto Sales Corp., 105 Broadway, 31 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 496-21, Class 2, Next Level Motors, Inc., 189 Eastern Ave, 35 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 497-21, Class 2, Broadway Auto Sales, 628 Broadway, 0 cars, it's a renewal. Paper 498-21, Class 2, McMillan Automotive, 388 Eastern Ave, 15 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 499-21, Class 2, AGM Auto Sales, 160 Eastern Ave, 18 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 500-21, Class 2, Nick's Foreign Center, 121 Beach Street, 19 vehicles, it's a renewal, but it's a name change from Linden Automotive to Nick's Foreign Car Center, it's a new owner. Paper 501-21, Class 2, Scott M. Fitzpatrick, DBA Wentworth Auto Sales, 730 Eastern Ave, Suite 091B, renewal, it's 15 vehicles. Paper 502-21, Class 2, Hub Starters and Alterations, Inc., 172 Broadway, 4 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 503-21, Class 2, Lewis Foreign Car Garage, Inc., 191 Salem Street, renewal, 2 vehicles. Paper 504-21, Class 2, Malden Middlesex Motor Sales, Inc., 129 Charles Street, it's a renewal. Paper 405-21, Class 3, Malden Middlesex Motor Sales, Inc., 129 Charles Street, it's a renewal. And finally, paper 506-21, Class 3, Malden Broadway Auto Body, 590 Broadway, it's a renewal.
So on Councilor Seeker's motion, we refer all these licenses to the License Committee. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Yes. DeMaria.
Yes.
Linehan. Yes. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Seeker. Yes. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Those papers have all been referred.
Winslow, yes. Winslow, yes. Yeah.
Next order of business.
Committee report, paper 507-21. Council Seeker for the committees requesting all of them get read at once. Committee report, license committees, paper 439-21, Class 2, John Service, 200 Beach Street, 15 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 440-21, Class 2, Auto Tech 2, Inc., 1236 Eastern Ave, 5 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 441-21, Class 2, Malden Auto Brokers, 225 Eastern Ave, 20 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 442-21, Class 2, Malden Auto Sales, 147 Ferry Street, 25 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 460-21, Class 2, Broadway Auto Motors, Inc., 495 Broadway, 27 vehicles, it's a renewal. Paper 443-21, Amusement Machines, Loyal Order of the Moose Lodge, 1910, 562 Broadway, 1 machine, it's renewal. Paper 444-21, Amusement Machine, GLS Associates, Inc., 50 Holden Street, 9 machines, it's a renewal. Paper 445-21, Pool Room Billiard License, Ancient Order of the Hibernians, Inc., 259 Charles Street, 1 pool table, it's a renewal. Paper 446-21, Petition Christmas Tree Sale, Smart Buy Auto Group, Inc., 616 Broadway, it's new. Paper 447-21, Fortune Teller, Angie Marks, 495 Broadway, it's a renewal. Paper 448-21, Extended Hours, Dunkin' Donuts, 980 Eastern Ave, 4 a.m. to midnight, it's a renewal. Paper 448-21, petition, Christmas tree sales, Jay's Pizza and Ice Cream, 167 Center Street. It's a renewal. And the requested license through January 10th, 2022, only granted through December 31st, 2021 on that Jay's Pizza and Ice Cream.
So on Councilor Seeker's motion to receive the committee report, clerk will please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Seeker. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. Committee report is received. Councilor Seeker for the committee.
Thank you. Thank you, Council President. So the License Committee met a couple of weeks ago to discuss these renewals. All of them are renewals except for one, which is Smart Buy USA for Christmas tree sales. Smart Buy has been a long-time business in Ward 8 with no issues. We met with compliance. There were no issues on any of these licenses, so I make a motion that we grant them all.
And speaking from the chair, I'll just let the public know that this is a process that these licenses all run through the end of the year, so we're getting an opportunity to deal with these licenses before they expire at the end of December. And I'll ask the clerk will please call the roll.
Can I get a second?
Second by Councilor Crowe. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Crowe. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Seeker. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. These petitions have been granted. Next order of business.
The docket is clear to go into executive session.
So the docket is clear. Is there anyone, we're going to be going into executive session, and we don't expect that we'll be conducting any further business in public following the executive session. So I'll offer to anyone that would like to speak on personal privilege, this will be the time to do that. And I see that Councilor Crowe is the first to ask for personal privilege. Councilor Crowe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to remind people that Thursday is Veterans Day, and the City of Malden is working with the American Legion, so we will be having a Veterans Day parade. At 9 o'clock, they'll be grouping at the American Legion, which is now 75 Meridian Street behind Bell Rock Park. And the parade will step off at 10, and it'll go up Wigglesworth Street and down Main Street and end at City Hall. After that, the American Legion is having a small ceremony that, that memorializes, the veterans that we've lost over the years. So we hope people will join us, and the American Legion will have some food after the parade if people want to come. So get out there and join a parade.
So just describe that parade route once again, Councilor. This is a new parade route.
It is
So
a
just
new parade
Make sure
route.
that we all understand where it is. Going to be leaving from the American Legion post.
From the, American Legion on Meridian Street. Again, Meridian Street is right behind Bell Rock Park. It'll be heading up Wigglesworth Street, which is on the side of Bell Rock Park, and then turn left onto Main Street and proceed left onto Pleasant Street and end at City Hall Plaza.
Very good. Anyone else interested in personal privilege? I see no other lights asking for personal privilege. So, requested. So please, Mr. Lucy, if you'll please read our request for personal privilege, for executive session.
So there's two separate items we'll be voting on, and we'll vote on them separately. So the first one is executive session, paper 508-21, executive session. The City Council will go into executive session with legal counsel for the city in regard to the matter of Barkowski versus Malden Police Department at 8L for the purpose of exemption 3, Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation where such discussions in open meeting may have a detrimental effect of the litigation position of the city, if so declared by the chair, and to admit City Solicitor Kate Fallon, Attorney Alicia McNeil, Attorney Joseph Podolsky, and Attorney Kenneth Anderson.
So on that request, Councilor Seeker makes that motion. Do we need a second for that? We do. Second for that by Councilor Lenahan. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Yes. Crowe. Yes. Linehan.
Yes.
Di Maria, even though you won't be.
Yes.
Okay. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Seeker. Yes. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So that motion has been passed. You've got a second one.
We have a second request, paper 509-21, executive session. The city council will vote to go into executive session with legal counsel for the city in regard to the matter of Giuliani versus Malden Police Department et al. For the purpose of exemption 3, Massachusetts General Laws, chapters 30A, section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation where such discussions in open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigation position of the city, if so declared by the chair, and to admit City Solicitor Kate Fallon, Attorney Alicia McNeil, Attorney Joseph Podolsky, and Attorney Kenneth Anderson.
On that, do we have a motion? On Councilor Lenahan's motion, seconded by Councilor Seeker. Clerk, please call the roll.
Kamel. Oh, yes. Crowe. Yes. Di Maria.
Yes.
Linehan. Yes. Murphy.
Murphy, yes.
O'Malley. Yes. Seeker. Yes. Spatafora. Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
Anderson.
Anderson, yes. So we will be going into, like I say, we'll be going into executive session. Following the executive session, we'll probably only be coming back out here to reconvene, only to adjourn the meeting. So we will adjourn now to executive session.